Dion asked Neve, so do you hate being black? Y'all, Neve says, no, I'm a proud black woman. Neve, you're a proud black woman in the same way that I'm a natural blonde, baby. Like, I could not. I was very curious, so I looked up who wrote the movie, and it's a black man. And baby, I have questions. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel. If you enjoy movie, TV show reviews, and recaps that are honest and a bit humorous, then this is definitely the place for you. In this video, I will be reviewing the new Netflix movie, The Strays, a psychological thriller about a light-skinned, black, biracial woman who is haunted by her black side. That's the synopsis. I have mixed feelings about this movie. Honestly, when I first saw it, I was like, what the fuck is this? And I saw it again, and you know what? I mean, it pretty much is giving bargain brand Get Out. It's giving bargain brand Funny Games. I feel like there is something good here. It just wasn't executed in the most effective way. Initially, I hated this movie, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I'm about to freaking go off and clown this movie. But you know what? I can appreciate the movie for what it wanted to be. Now, one big mistake in my humble opinion is the opening sequence. We get Cheryl, who is our lead, who was very much giving me Thandi Newton vibes. Am I crazy? Was it just me? Anyway, Cheryl is on the phone with her sister complaining about her life, the state of her life, and how she shouldn't be this down and out after winning Saleswoman of the Year for like, I don't know, 3 years in a row or something like that. She is complaining about her life and how she went to the housing board for help with rent, and her sister pretty much goes into how you have a job, your man got a job, like it's both of y'all, and the problem is that y'all are trying to live above y'all means. Now, we all can be a little guilty of trying to live above our means, but Cheryl is frustrated with how they look at her, look down on her. Essentially, Cheryl feels trapped, disgruntled in her circumstances, and she goes to get up and leave for the hairdresser. She takes a long look in the mirror before leaving, and next thing we know, that same person who was Cheryl is now Neve, living in suburbia with a white husband and 2 fair-skinned kids. I definitely feel like it would have added to the mystery of the situation, and it definitely would have added to the suspense and the tension of the situation if the audience didn't go in knowing that Neve used to be Cheryl and knowing about her past, specifically when she's seen this black man. So basically, Neve was unhappy being looked at and treated as black, I guess. Unhappy with her status, being married to a black man, living in a lower middle class life. I mean, they didn't look lower class to me. More so, they seem to be like lower middle working class. So Cheryl / Neve pretty much was looking in the mirror before walking out, and she looked in the mirror like, okay, bye blackness, like, see you later, kiss my ass. Now, I will say that for me, Neve never comes across as happy in her new life. I mean, we watch her practicing in the mirror her morning like greeting to her neighbor, which I'm like, baby, if you've been living this life for like, you know, over a decade, you don't know how to talk to the neighbor by now? All the energy that Neve had to expel to live this restricted and fake existence. I mean, to the point that her husband doesn't even know her. They have teenage age kids, and the disconnect and lack of chemistry was very telling. Y'all, they had the most awkward sex scene. This was the sex scene, like literally. And I'm just like, what are y'all doing? He like go try and touch the synthetic wig, and she like moves his hand away. So the uneasiness throughout the movie is Neve constantly scratching at her wig. Baby, the wig is itching because it's synthetic, girl. Like, you would think with her status in life, Neve could afford a much better wig. Baby, get the human hair wig, child, not the synthetic. But I'm not judging, child, because I have severe eczema ever since I was a kid, and I was literally just telling somebody itching can be a form of torture. So, you know what? That was coming across for me. But now the movie tries to explore these like racial undertones and roles, etc. But really, the way it comes across, it's just really cheap and stereotypical. But there are some real like racial awkwardness. For example, when Neve has lunch with this one white lady, and child, everybody in the town is like white. She done found like the white town, but she goes to tell Neve, you're practically one of us. And when Neve and Ian, her husband, have another couple over, for some reason, the topic of conversation that the friend's husband decides to bring up is apparently white people fleeing the city or urban areas for the suburbs, as if, you know, niggas ain't in the suburbs, but whatever. And then when Mary, who is Neve and Ian's daughter, she comes in with these cornrows, he decides to say her hair looks ethnic. Which, excuse you, sir? First of all, there was no need to even comment on the girl hair. I can't stand that. Like, she asked for y'all to comment on her hair, child. And really, Neve is extremely biased. Her son, Sebastian, says how she is against anything black. And I feel like the movie had a chance to really delve into like black themes of black identity. But yeah, of course they like don't. I mean, you can't really try to keep out anything black, because black identity is way more than just like how you wear your hair, like certain hairstyles or certain music, rap music. Because baby, Neve took down the Lil Wayne poster her son put up, and as if white kids not listening to Lil Wayne. Okay, whatever. But y'all, when Neve was at that restaurant and she pays for the bill, telling the waitress without the service, thank you. Y'all, what is that over there in England? Is that the tip? Because I know, baby, and all her money and status was not walking out that mug, not tipping that poor waitress. But I don't know England, UK stuff. So I'm not sure what without the service, I'm not sure what that line meant. But y'all, if y'all hear noise, it's my dogs playing. I'm sorry, okay? Just ignore it. Now, in regards to Neve's morning routine, it really irked me that the movie never tells us what those pills were that she was taking. And if I'm not mistaken, in one scene, it looks like she took like 2 pills in one morning scene, and then in another morning scene she took 3 pills or something like that. Are they in labs making like suppress your blackness pills? Is that what baby was taking? I mean, what were those damn pills? They could have just, you know, showed us the label or something, or have her like not take the pill and then something happens. But I'm gonna guess they are maybe skin bleaching or skin lightening pills of some kind. Now they end up having Mary go off with a friend and come back with her hair braided right. And Sebastian goes off after a basketball game and gets home like super late. And later they end up telling us exactly what went down with Sebastian and Mary, which is fine for the storytelling. But what I thought was funny was when Sebastian finally gets home, right, after not calling or anything, just being gone. Child, why the little nigga got the nerve to walk up in the house with an attitude when Ian, you know, is talking to him? Baby, Neve must have missed the black suppression pills that morning, because baby took off her shoe and started beating Sebastian down. She was a black mama that day. But one thing that kept happening that I was initially a little confused by on first watch is Neve kept seeing a black man, right? And at first, I thought she was seeing a man who wasn't actually there, right? Especially when she's in the living room with Ian and that other couple, and she starts yelling about seeing a man outside the window and how he's walking towards towards the house, right? And she's freaking out, but seemingly no one else can see him. Now, Neve works at her son's private school, right? Head mistress, principal, some child. And again, I was confused because she flips out when she sees Sebastian talking to the janitor, right? The black man. And at first I was like, does she recognize the janitor? Does she recognize the janitor as the man she saw like behind her car, etc., outside her front yard or whatever? But after we find out that he is her son, the black man that she abandoned, she tells Ian that she did not recognize her kids, right? That she hadn't seen them for 16, 17 years. Now, if Neve did not recognize the janitor as her son, why was she so riled up when Sebastian was just having a casual conversation with him? Does she not want her son talking to black folk, like, in general? So Neve is throwing this charity gala thing, right? And she gives this speech. And child, as I was watching, I thought she was going to mess up the speech. I thought, because, you know, at this point, she kind of cracking. But other than the itching her synthetic wig, her speech went well. I'm like, okay, she made it through the speech without incident, but then once the speech is over, that is when Neve flips out. And for me, this kind of didn't make any sense, right? That she would make such a scene and such a spectacle in front of the community of white folk that she is so concerned with blending into and impressing. But she goes off through the crowd and she's like, in front of the black guy and the girl, I don't know what game you're playing. We're not playing your sick, twisted game. Now, this really made no sense to me because I was watching like, baby, what game? And why is the game sick and twisted? Yo, did Neve know they were her kids or not? Did she think they were just rando black folk? Now, they don't show us the full story of the gala, right? Like the full events of what happened. This is when we are introduced to Carl and Dion, right? And why it was all about classical music, right? Neve be driving in the car and it's classical music. And why that is felt like a way to like make you like insane. But anyway, as soon as Carl and Dion are introduced to the story, it's rap music. That kind of irked me. Also, the way they put the music in and then it would just abruptly stop when they started talking. It wasn't smooth. That irked me. I don't know. It was just kind of off. And this is also what I mean about the racial identity themes in this movie. Why are these two characters, black characters, being associated with rap music? Why is that the music when they are introduced to us? They get in town and go to a hotel, and for some reason, the guy at the front desk acts startled and surprised when they walk in. Like he ain't never seen black folk before, but whatever. Apparently, this is a town with all white demographic. And, you know, okay, I guess they ain't got no TV. They ain't never seen, like, don't know niggas past the border. Like, no black folk come in here. And this is when we discovered that Sebastian and Mary were actually hanging out with Carl and Dion. And that when Ian is at the dinner table saying, we hired a black girl. And he was like, black? Y'all, such a strange conversation. And of course, in context of the movie, it is supposed to be a strange conversation because, you know, why you ain't just say we hired somebody? He had to announce we hired a black girl and black? We're black, mom. I'm not sure why hiring a black girl needed a grand announcement, but here we are. Anyway, we discovered that the black girl, Abigail, that Ian hired, is actually Dion, and that the janitor at the school was Carl, which we get an odd moment there when we get more context on Carl in the hallway with Sebastian. We discover that some white kid who literally looks like he could be cousins with Sebastian is bullying him. But apparently he's bullying Sebastian because his mom is like principal or something at the school, not because Sebastian is mixed and, you know, half black child. So Sebastian is starved apparently to hang out with a brother, with a black person, because he latches onto Carl so quick. And apparently when the black folk into the town, they bring cigarettes and weed and alcohol. Okay. Sebastian ends up on a rooftop with a stranger smoking weed, child. Doing drugs on a freaking roof with a stranger literally feels like the worst idea in a long line of terrible teenage ideas. And all I could think is that movie Mercury Rising with Bruce Willis. You are a stranger. Like, come on, Sebastian. Now, I didn't like this, right? Carl is hanging with Sebastian and Dion is hanging with Mary. And all I could think when I was watching is the kids are innocent in this. They don't have anything to do with the situation with Neve, child. And at first I thought that Carl and Dion were trying to like get cool with the kids, but in both situations Carl and Dion go from personable and friendly and nice and cool to really cold, odd, and angry, and the situation turns really tense. Apparently, a comment about prom triggers Dion. She's like, prom? Like in the movies? And she ends up getting upset, feeling like Mary has everything. She has it all, pretty much. Now, like I said, we don't get to fully see the events at the gala like go down and play out. We saw Neve going up to them and making a scene, and it ends with them being like, Mom, and then we see Dion freaking out at the gala with Carl dragging her away, right? Then they cut to Neve and her family at home after the whole situation went down. Of course, Ian asking her if it's true, if those are her kids. Baby, when I tell y'all, for the first time, Neve had the wig off, child. Neve, no, not even just the wig off. She was showing her hair for the first time. Neve looked a mess without her wig, child. Y'all remember when Halle Berry played a crackhead? That's what Neve was giving without her wig, with her real hair out. And I wish they would have focused more, maybe just a bit on Neve's connection or lack thereof with her hair, because her hair looked so bad. It was like patchy. Maybe she rips her hair out, or it's just unhealthy and falling out because it's uncared for. Now, for some reason, Ian says your two black kids just showed up. If I've been married to somebody for over a decade or been with them for over a decade, based on the age of their kids, child, I would be like, you have two kids who just showed up, not black kids. Like, why the fact he emphasizes that the kids your wife abandoned and never told you about are black is disturbing. But y'all, Neve is toxic as hell because she tries to turn things around on Ian like, well, you wouldn't have raised two black kids. But Neve, baby, anyway, Neve tries to tell her family that the kid's father was a bad man and she had to escape. But child, if I'm Ian, I wouldn't, like, baby, if he's such a bad man, why you left two little kids with him? Now, they end up just being like, no matter what, we're family. And everybody goes up to hug Neve as if she's the victim, child. And she ends up telling her family that her two black kids are gone, that they chose to leave, right? And that's not the real story. She meets up with Dion and Carl at like this little cafe place, right? And I actually liked this scene. The way that Carl clicked on the waitress was hilarious, and how the waitress was just like, okay. She gives her kids £20,000 to like apologize and for them to like get their life together in London, right? And child, after she get them a check, Dion is like, well, this is just until we can all sort this out, right? And Neve lies, and she's just like, exactly, Dion. But no, child, they want y'all niggas gone. But this scene was crazy. Dion asked Neve, so do you hate being black? Y'all, Neve says, no, I'm a proud black woman. Neve, you're a proud black woman in the same way that I'm a natural blonde, baby. Like, I could not. I was just cracking up laughing at that scene. Man, I was like, excuse you, lady? I could not believe she said that. It was now, it's a lot of stuff that just goes nowhere or doesn't make sense. Neve gets a brown paper bag with this toy car, and like the little driver in the car has a white hood or something on his head. Like, who sent that? Where did it come from? And what was with the brown paper bag? You know, is that in correlation to like the brown paper bag test? There is a moment where Neve is freaking out and her wig like attacks her and starts wrapping around her hands and stuff. I mean, Neve was cracking, but was she, I don't know, was this like a play to like her mental state? Because in all other facets of her life, Neve is in her right mind, but suddenly her wig is attacking her. Anyway, then Carl and Sebastian attack the bully, right? And the bully seemingly wasn't dead. They just like hit him in the face with a basketball. So what happened with that? He didn't report what happened because Carl yells out the name Sebastian, so baby know who attacked him. And even if he doesn't tell who did it, there wasn't just talk about him getting attacked. Carl didn't hold the incident over Sebastian, blackmail or bring it up or nothing. So what was the point in getting Sebastian to do something so out of his character if it really didn't go anywhere? And how you get jobs using fake names? Don't you need identification? Like, I don't know if they have social security numbers and cards over there, but Dion and Carl supposedly grew up rough. So rough that prom is something that happens on TV. So how they got money for fake IDs and stuff like that to get a job with fake names? But anyway, oh, and the folks who grew up rough and prom is only on TV dropped a bunch of money at the hotel to pay for the week in advance. Also, how Neve's son looked the same age as Neve. Baby was not given 20 years old. And, you know, so we end up seeing Carl and Dion pulling up to Neve them house, right? And I was confused at first because baby had on a damn birthday hat. Now, this ending sequence, right, was kind of good, but also really dumb. Carl and Dion break into the house and are just casually turning on the TV, running water and stuff. And when they come across Sebastian and Neve them, they are talking so casual, like they didn't just break the hell in. They are here because it's Dion's birthday and they are celebrating as a family, right? Now they end up being held hostage in their own home. And really the most disturbing part was that damn water running, overflowing out the sink. I wanted to turn that water off so bad. It was irking me. But I was confused how 4 people, 2 of which are full grown, 4 people are held hostage by 2 people with no gun. So they are forced to sing happy birthday, play Scrabble, and Carl then takes Ian to the back room into their little home gym so they could work out together, child. And at this point, it is only Dion and the other 3 people up front in the dining room. Why they couldn't fight her and then go get their dad? Like, this is why I'm like, it was so dumb. They literally just sit there listening to Ian and that yelling child. So they had ordered Chinese food from DoorDash or Uber Eats or something like that, right? Even though it's like super late at night. And for some reason, after planning this whole thing, Dion lets Neve go answer the door. And it's a big house. The front door is like a little walk out of Dion's sight. Now, Neve tells the delivery driver to wait a minute, right? So she could go get money for a tip. So Neve goes into the dining room and she like, Sebastian, where's my purse? So I could tip the driver. So she goes upstairs and grabs the entire purse, not a wallet, not just some cash. Baby, Neve took the hell off with the delivery driver. And we get all 4 kids just standing there looking dumb. I'm thinking she gonna write a message on the money or something. Ask the driver, to get the police. No, baby did what she does best. She left. So in the end, we discover that Neve is actually not a colorist. She just a deadbeat. Neve don't want to be white. She wants to be a toxic man. When she was explaining everything to her family, right, and she says, I did what fathers do all the time. Neve views the world in stereotypes, and she has no real moral compass. Anytime Neve feels suffocated or just in a hard spot, hard situation, she just leaves. Because for her, leaving is easier than dealing. I do not think her kid's father was dangerous. I don't think it was an abusive relationship. That little voicemail he left at the beginning of the movie, that was not enough to give me abusive. Cheryl left because of the financial situation. Things got thick. The spot got hot. Neve dipped. Now the sequel to The Strays needs to find Neve with a whole new family child. Neve was living a life of not passing, but blending in and assimilating to the point of trying to get white folks in her town to forget the Negro inside her blood. Ian died in the gym, by the way, but Ian needed to die for his "my tribe" comment, like tribe. White man try. Okay, no, but I'm just playing. But Carl killing Ian made absolutely no sense. It would have made more sense to kill Sebastian. Ian was completely innocent in everything. He didn't know nothing about the kids. He didn't know nothing about her giving them money. Yes, Sebastian was innocent in everything as well, but it just would have made more logic sense to kill Sebastian out of like some kind of jealousy. Overall, this movie was decent. It wasn't the worst thing I have ever seen. I hated it at first, but I would have liked more violence and for the ending to not have been so idiotic with the family being held hostage so easily. But Neve walking out that mug and truly giving F them kids was the best part of the movie. But Itch was getting hot because baby Neve left without the wig, child. I was very curious, so I looked up who wrote the movie, and it's a black man. And baby, I have questions. I am going to give The Strays a solid 4 out of 10. Interesting premise, lazy writing, poor execution, saved by some really solid performances. Thank you so much for watching this video, for supporting the channel. Let me know, what did you think of The Strays? Did you agree or disagree with my opinion? Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next one.